as part of the right's juiced up culture war, they've been going after drag shows. Now, of course, they imply that all these shows are sexual, so you can't have kids at them. Some places even go further and just want to get rid of drag shows entirely. And look, it's a cheap, easy point, but it's also accurate that none of these people make a peep about Hooters, right? Hooters is the restaurant where you go, you get some wings, you get a burger, you get some chicken fingers, whatever it might be. And these young girls are walking around in skimpy ass clothes, showing their ass and titties. And none of these conservatives are like, "Ooh, how dare you!" They love that, actually. They love that. They just don't like it if it's LGBTQ adjacent. Even if it's not sexual, they're against it. But definitely if it becomes sexual, it's like, oh! Imagine doing a gay version of Hooters. A gay version of Hooters. The right would melt down. But actual Hooters, they're like, oh, this is based. I love this. Okay. Trump-appointed judge. Republican judge rejects Tennessee's anti-drag law as too broad and too vague. Tennessee's first-in-the-nation law designed to place strict limits on drag shows is unconstitutional, a federal judge says. The law is both unconstitutionally vague and substantially overbroad and encouraged discriminatory enforcement, according to the ruling late Friday by U.S. District Judge Thomas Parker, who was appointed by former President Donald Trump. Quote, "There's no question that obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment, but there is a difference between material that is obscene in the vernacular and material that is obscene under the law. Simply put, no majority of the Supreme Court has held that sexually explicit but not obscene speech receives less protection than political, artistic, or scientific speech. This law, or the law, would have banned adult cabaret performances from public property or anywhere where minors might be present. Performers who broke the law risked being charged with a misdemeanor or felony for a repeat offense." Parker used the example of a female performer wearing an Elvis Presley costume and mimicking the iconic musician who could be at risk of punishment under the drag law because they would be considered a male impersonator. Friends of George's, a Memphis-based LGBTQ plus theater company, filed a complaint in March saying the law would negatively impact them because they produce drag-centric performances, comedy sketches, and plays with no age restrictions. Quote, "This win represents a triumph over hate," the theater company said in a statement Saturday, adding that the ruling affirmed their First Amendment rights as artists. Similar to the countless battles the LGBTQ plus community has faced over the last several decades, our collective success relies upon everyone speaking out and taking a stand against bigotry, the group said. Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson, a Republican who was one of the law's main sponsors, said he was disappointed with the ruling. Quote, "Sadly, this ruling is a victory for those who support exposing children to sexual entertainment," Johnson said, adding that he hoped the state's attorney general will appeal the perplexing ruling. Initially, the complaint listed Republican Governor Bill Lee, Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti, and Shelby County District Attorney General Stephen Mulroy as defendants, but the plaintiffs later agreed to dismiss the governor and top legal chief, although Skrmetti continued to represent Mulroy for the case. A spokesperson for both Skrmetti and Mulroy did not immediately respond Saturday to requests for comment on Parker's ruling. Tennessee's Republican-dominated legislature advanced the anti-drag law earlier this year, with several GOP members pointing to drag performances in their hometowns as reasons why it was necessary to restrict such performances from taking place in public or where children could view them. Yes, the word drag doesn't appear in the statute. Instead, lawmakers changed the state's definition of adult cabaret to mean adult-oriented performances that are harmful to minors. Furthermore, male or female impersonators were classified as a form of adult cabaret, akin to strippers or topless dancers. This is one of the reasons why it's way too broad and why they overreached. Male or female impersonators. So if somebody dresses in drag, they're saying by its very definition, it is adult cabaret. Yeah, but what if you have a non-sexual drag performance? What then? They say, we don't care. That's illegal. We're gonna categorize it as adult, even if it's not. By its very nature, a man dressing up as a woman is sexual, or a woman dressing up as a man is sexual. Well, look, I hate to say it, but you guys are telling on yourselves there, aren't you? You guys are telling on yourselves there. If you say that's inherently sexual, you're telling on yourself. Because if I see somebody dressed in drag, my first thought isn't, man, that's sexual, or man, that's hot. My thought is, that's a person dressed in drag. But they go right to, oh, that's hot, that's sexy, that's sexual. Well, you might want to look inward and figure out why you think that's the case, right? Now, again, if we're talking about actual sexual performances, actual adult-only stuff, yeah, label it adult-only and don't have any kids there. But they're trying to codify this stuff into law, and they're trying to pretend that things that aren't sexual are sexual. That's what they're doing here. Which, again, look, I come back to my main point, man. Tennessee, you don't have any other problems. You don't have people who need higher wages. You don't have people who need paid sick time. You don't have people who need paid vacation time. You don't have people who need health care. You don't have people with debt. You don't have potholes to fix all over the goddamn place. God damn it. You know they have real problems and they're out there like, well, let's really hyper-focus on men dressed as women and women dressed as men, and let's talk about that for 3 weeks straight in the legislative session. The governor quickly signed off on the statute and it was set to take effect April 1st. Okay, hold on now. Is this the governor? You guys tell me. I'm not 100% sure on this one. But there was a governor who signed an anti-drag law and a picture came out of him wearing drag. Is this that governor? This might be that governor, which again goes to show you these people are hypocrites. I don't know if it was this governor or not, but there is a governor in the country, Republican governor, who was anti-drag, was caught wearing drag. There was a picture of it from when he was younger. You have a Republican judge who's like, I don't know what you guys are doing. This is obviously unconstitutional. This is obviously not acceptable. You know you done fucked up. You know you went too far. Because I'm sure this guy's got some sympathetic views towards these people. But I think the piece that annoys me more than anything else, again, is the massive hypocrisy. Nobody's suing to try to shut down Hooters. Kids go to Hooters with these women dressed sexually, right? Nobody tries to shut that down. Nobody even says, hey, it's not a good idea to, you shouldn't take your kid to. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. Look, my daughter with Crystal, she's a dancer. I hear some of the songs they play, and they're sort of borderline, right? But nobody peeps up and says, ban, we shouldn't allow this, ban it. Nobody does that. So again, what we see here is an environment and a culture where if you have sexualization, even if it's to a minor degree, even if it's to a major degree, of kids, as long as if it's in a heterosexual context, nobody cares. Nobody makes a peep. Nobody says anything. But have things that are mildly sexual or not at all sexual, that's drag related or LGBTQ plus related, and it's like, whoa, we must stop this. Again, you're telling on yourselves. It is super duper obvious. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.